Hello, and welcome to the Wine Educate podcast, where we explore WSET education, study tips, and practical advice for wine enthusiasts and professionals. So we are at episode 4, the much promised wine scholarships, the list you've been waiting for. I had a great trip to the beach to teach my level 1 class at Seaside. It was absolutely lovely. First time I taught a level 1 outside, which was really interesting, and great weather, thankfully. It was really lovely. Okay, so scholarships. I wanted to touch on this early on in the podcast because wine education can be expensive. So I'm recording this in 2024, and I just did a quick little Google to find the average price for some in-person classes. Level 2, this is in the US. The average price is $800. For level 3, you're looking at around $2,000. And for diploma, which is like a mini college course, takes about a year to 18 months, that's $6,000. And that is before you pay for your wine samples and your travel to and from the location in which you're going to take your exam. So it can get pretty pricey. So I'm going to dig into some ways here today so you can pay for these classes to help you figure out how to pay for them. First of all, I would look into what payment plans the different APPs have available. We offer payment plans for both level 2 and level 3. Level 2, you can pay in 2 installments, and level 3 over 3 different installments. It makes it easier not to have to pay everything up front. You pay your initial payment, you get the book, you can start planning, start studying. So that could be particularly helpful. Now, here's one that is relatively new, and that is having employers pay for your course. So I have seen an explosion of this in the last year. It's been quite remarkable for restaurant groups, distributors, importers, all now paying for their employees to go through levels 1, 2, and 3. It's been quite remarkable how many restaurant groups in particular are paying for this. But they're not just paying for it, just to pay for it. They see the results from it. So there's a pretty well-known restaurant here in New Orleans, and they have put many of their restaurant managers through level 2 and level 3 with me. And I was speaking with one of the restaurant managers the other day about it, and he said, look, we're doing great. We have these meetings, we sit down, we say, we cannot fit any more chairs into this restaurant. We cannot make any more seats magically appear. How are we also going to able to increase our sales? Well, through wine sales, right? So over the last year, they have paid to put forth many of their managers through the WSET courses. And in the last year, they have seen an increase in 17% in wine sales. So quite the return on their investment, quite worth it. So they are going to move forward in 2025 and continue to educate their staff, which is wonderful. I've had restaurant groups pay for their staff, the majority of their staff, to do an all-day level 1 with me. So you can do this in the downtime, right? So maybe in January, February, I'm talking particularly for New Orleans, January, February, also in the summer months can be a bit brutal here. So July, August, September, a good time for a restaurant group team build opportunity to take an all-day level 1 class. Is a great fun. And again, they've seen the results in doing that. So that is pretty great. If you are not sure if your employer pays for these classes, ask them. You never know. Ask them. I've had students from other restaurant groups, and they've worked for the restaurant group for years. They never knew that the restaurant was going to pay or was willing to pay for their WSET education. So the next time you see your HR manager, plant a seed and say, hey, do you guys cover for these classes? Maybe partially for the class, so on and so forth. I think you may be surprised by the answer that you get. As a general rule, that's just a bit of life advice that can go along with your wine advice. I think we should all ask for at least one thing a week that we're pretty sure the answer is probably going to be no. Now, don't be cheeky or rude about this. And if you get a firm no, you've got to respect that, of course. But you never know. You never know. The company could have allocated funds set aside for staff and employee education, and they might not even know that it's sitting there. So ask, politely ask, but find out. You never know. Okay, with your local APP. So I always encourage you to take these classes in person if possible, because you get the benefits, all those lovely in-person benefits. So ask your local APP if they offer any of their own scholarships, because many of them do. At the point of me recording this, we do not have one on offer, but I'm going to add it to my plate of something to create for the new year. So stay tuned, particularly, I think, for level 1, because there are not many scholarships for level 1, which is strange to me because it's a great place to start. So not just scholarships for the APPs, but also teacher assistant opportunities. What's a teacher's assistant? Well, you have the class, you have the instructor for the class, but if you've ever taken a wine class, there's a lot of wine glasses involved. So there's setup, there's pouring of the wines, there's cleaning up of the wines, all of which takes a lot of effort, and you need some extra hands to help out with that. It is not always clear if the APP also needs a TA. Again, ask. When I took my classes at the International Wine Center, as a plug for my New York alma mater, though I took my WSET classes from, they offered TA positions at the time. I took my level 3 and diploma class. For level 3 and diploma, I was a TA. It was a tremendous experience for me. So shout out to New Jersey Jonathan, my brother from another mother, who also was my fellow TA and wine bestie. So hey there, John. We got 50% off of our classes. That is pretty amazing. Not only that, but we showed up half an hour early and we stayed half an hour late. So we got to chit chat with the instructors. Mary Ewan Mulligan, Master of Wine, was our diploma instructor. So we got to know Mary. It was pretty great. And then if there was any wine samples left over after class, we took them home. So not a bad gig at all. Some schools won't offer the TA position. They have their own staff that would work it. But again, you never know until you ask. And in general, just always show initiative. Be helpful, ask questions, make friends, get to know people. I recently taught a level 1 and had a gal in the class, very helpful, helped me out with the glasses. She did not need to. She was not on the staff, but just being helpful. And she wants to come on our upcoming level 2 wine trip to the south of France. So we're offering one this year. Very exciting to teach level 2 at the on Mom and Dad's vineyard, right? She emailed me after the fact to say, were there any opportunities to get a discount on the trip and so on and so forth. And initially I thought, well, I don't know. I wasn't thinking of offering a discount. But then I realized that my numbers for this trip are growing and I really don't have anyone else to help me with the setup and breakdown of glasses. So I said, sure, I'll give you a discount on the trip and you can be my TA for the trip. So there you go. That was something I was not even planning for. I hadn't even thought about. She was proactive. She asked for a discount in exchange for help, and it made sense to me. And so therefore it is now happening. So ask, you never know. All right, let's have a look. So the list of the top 10 scholarships and mentorship programs, I should say, because it's not just scholarships, it's also educational experiences that are available as well. You can get this list in the show notes. There's a link in the show notes to check it out. This is an organic list. It will continue to evolve. So some of the scholarships I mentioned, students have had success with in the past. Some are local opportunities that are really only available here in New Orleans currently, like the Turning Tables organization, which is an amazing organization. And some of them just look like really great opportunities. And as I said, this is an organic, evolving thing. You may be listening to this, it may be a year or two later, and there might be some other really amazing scholarships that have emerged. So this is a bit of a group effort, and I'm going to ask for your help too. If you have taken a scholarship or gotten a mentorship opportunity that you think is really well worth it, and you want to let your fellow wine students know about it, email me, please. So I'm Joanne, JOANNE, at wineeducate.com. I would love to know. And if you've had success, others would like to know as well. Take a close look at these scholarships and opportunities. They're not a one-stop shop. They come in all different shapes and sizes. So there are some for the WSET classes, some for the CMS classes, and others just for general other wine education. So lots to kind of mine out of these opportunities. And it may take you a little time. Pour yourself your little glass of wine, sit down for an hour or so, get out your notebook, take some notes, have a real think about what the opportunities are here. Some things are going to be expected of you, right? So first of all, you have to figure out what's here, and then you need to have a plan in place. Some of these scholarships, well, most of them, I would say, have set deadlines. So take note, when do the scholarships open? What do you need to do in order to apply? Do you need letters of recommendation? Do you need to write an essay? Do you need to have other documents to provide? So make sure you have those, because sometimes that can take some time, especially if you need a letter of recommendation, because can take a minute sometimes for people to get back to you and provide you with something like that. Yes, so pay attention to deadlines, when they open, when they close. It could also take a whole year to get an answer back, whether or not you received one or not. So my best advice would be to start now. Start now so you give this process time to unfold. And in the same breath, you need to know what your plan is. So here's the part where I really ask you to dig deep and figure it out. What is your wine life plan? No, it's not really all that serious. But if you are planning on getting certain goals accomplished, you have to figure out the steps in order to do so, right? So what is your timeline? If you have the opportunity now to get out your pen and paper and sort of write this down. If you're driving, please don't. You could do this later. That's all right. Maybe just mentally think about it as you navigate traffic. I'm constantly navigating traffic while I'm listening to podcasts. I'm like, I wish I could write things down, but we need to be safe when we drive. So let's take this as an example. Say you want to become a master of wine. Awesome. That is a really, really cool goal. There are many steps you need to take before you even enter into the Master Wine program, right? You need to have taken your diploma. And before that, you have to take level 3. Before that, you need to take level 2 or an equivalent. So if you add all that up, cost-wise, even before you add, again, travel and the cost of wines, you're looking at around $9,000. And then time-wise, even if you sped through it, and I'm talking about doing in-person classes here, you're looking at 3 years as really the fastest. And then if you wanted to sprinkle in some practical work experience and maybe even a harvest or a vineyard visit, you're looking at even a longer time frame. But map it out. And by mapping it out, you can also see what scholarships you could use for different elements of your journey. Okay? I think that would be a pretty helpful exercise. All right. So those are my suggestions of things that you can do. Find out about payment plans. Talk to your local APP about local scholarships and teacher's assistant positions, and have a look at this list of scholarships and see what you can find and apply sooner than later, because it can take some time, right? Please let me know your results. I'm really curious. And I do hope you all find some success with these scholarships. And again, if you have other scholarships that you feel need to be included in this list, let me know at joanne@wineeducate.com. All right, see you next week. Next week, we're going to be talking more about WSET Level 1, why you shouldn't skip it, and why it's my favorite class to teach. All right, see you next week.